I will call to order the December 3rd, 2018 Commission meeting, and I'd like to welcome everyone in attendance. Pam, are there any public comments?
Yes, sir. The first one is Danny Barksdale.
Mr. Barksdale.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Regarding last Wednesday's comments by Steve, I stand by everything I have written and have asked Steve for specific comments that he feels are not accurate. I will address them as received. There is nothing that has changed my mind. The Rogers Group needs no help. Their sales are over $1 billion, and they have ample resources to take care of themselves. The American system is that elected officials are to represent the people who elected them. When this fails, people with limited resources are left with no one to protect them. At this time, it is only relevant that the damage to our roads is real. The risk to public safety is also real. Let's find a way to change our policy before it becomes deadly. The only people directly benefiting from the rock quarry are the Rogers Group and the landowner at the expense of the general public. It is not our business what a landowner does on his property. It only becomes our business when it affects our roads or public safety. The fear of an unfavorable ruling in a lawsuit by the Rogers Group against Limestone County for stopping them from destroying our roads is minimal to non-existent and should not prevent us from putting the safety and well-being of the citizens of Limestone County first. I would think that facing their attorneys would be preferable to facing a grieving family that lost a loved one. I would be more concerned about being aware of a situation and doing nothing to correct it. Now, I do not understand how the Huntsville Permitting Authority could issue a permit to a quarry with the only available access road being a road that would be weight limited at 13 tons. I would like to ask the county attorney what he thinks of this. Looks to me like Huntsville caused the problem, so we should call them up and tell them to fix it by condemning land for access to Browns Ferry Road. The quarry residents are not unreasonable people. They would just like a little representation, at least someone who appears to be on their side. Now let's join together as Limestone County citizens and address the real problem, which is Huntsville permitting the quarry.
Thank you, Mr. Barksdale. Anything else?
Well, it would be okay for Mr. Macklin, too.
Well, I guess the question would be, have you asked anybody from Huntsville
No.
about the permitting of the quarry?
No.
Okay.
But would they have any type of due diligence to do
Well,
that?
I mean, you're talking about something within the city of Huntsville. So
Correct. I was just asking for, as an attorney, for your opinion.
I mean, I'll be glad to meet with Steve or any commissioners or Mr. Barksdale.
Well, I'll follow up on it. I was just hoping to get, it just looks, that doesn't sound right to me. Thank you.
I'll be glad to look into it just like I have questions before.
All right, thank y'all.
Thank you.
Any more?
Matthew Putnam.
Mr. Chairman, thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Matthew Putnam. I'm a Marine and a resident of Limestone County. First, I'd like to address some of the Commissioner's comments about Mr. Barksdale not remaining for the rest of the meeting to hear their comments, so they would not comment. Most of us are not able to attend these meetings during regular business hours, and requests to hold a meeting at a time that can be attended by more residents that are affected by the West Huntsville quarry have been denied. These meetings are recorded and available for us to review, so I feel the Commissioners had a responsibility to respond to Mr. Barksdale's concerns, regardless if he was present or not. He is not the only resident hot under the collar about the quarry. So when the Commission continues its business today, I would humbly request the Commission readdress having an evening meeting so the working residents affected by this quarry can attend. Since there's little interest in seeking to weight limit the roads that are being destroyed by the industrial traffic in and out of the quarry for fear of a lawsuit which we supposedly cannot win, I would also request the Commissioners seek formal outside legal opinions from expert counsel on the subject to determine what we can and cannot do to find a resolution to the quarry quandary. It appears to our community that the owners of the West Huntsville Quarry, the former Limestone County Chairman Mark Yarborough, and the Huntsville City Mayor Tommy Battle used a technique described as gerrymandering to circumvent Limestone County residents who have successfully opposed reopening of the quarry for decades. This annexation of the quarry property disallowed the immediate community any representation concerning the quarry, including the devaluation and physical damages to our homes, the damages to our roads, the loss of quiet enjoyment of our properties. This annexation was quietly and without notice to our community deliberately meant to undermine our ability to oppose the quarry. But we will not sit quietly on the sidelines and be fed a bunch of political horse manure about how there's nothing we can do about it and suck it up and shut up. It also appears as if the county standards have been misapplied by not requiring the quarry owners to adhere to the same standards as any other developer in the county. According to documentation from the county engineer's office, it appears we adhere to ALDOT road construction and maintenance requirements. Access to these heavy trucks into and out of the quarry and cement plant represent an exponential increase of tonnage on and off and regular travel on roads such as County Roads 95 and 32, also known as Newby and Gray Road. These minor roads are grossly inadequate to support this new use, as evidenced by the rapid deterioration of the roadway, the inability of these large heavy trucks to maintain operation on the roadway, causing damage to the shoulders of the roadway, damage to residential concrete driveways and lawns, damage to concrete pipes under the roadway, and an increased adverse effect to the safety of other motorists due to insufficient roadway width to accommodate more than casual heavy-duty truck associated with delivery of construction materials, collection of garbage, bus transportation of students, and agricultural use. I'd also like to know one more thing. How many of you have met with a representative from the quarry? And how many of you have met with any of us in our community? Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Holly Denny.
Good morning, gentlemen. Most of my comments are directed to Mr. Turner. And Mr. Turner, I feel that you owe every citizen in this county an apology, saying we are blindly following one person's lead on an issue that affects us negatively every single day is what I consider an ignorant remark. Quite frankly, I find it insulting for some politician to accuse me of allowing someone else to tell me how they think I should feel. Mr. Turner, you do not know me, and it seems you do not know the people in your district. I am a college-educated woman and have a mind of my own. Prior to allowing someone to have my vote, I look into the politician's stances on issues. I look at their character. I look to see who is funding their campaign, and I make an educated decision. Not everyone has the time to come in and sit in on your meetings to see if you're doing your job or to even find out what you are doing. Last year, while I was away tending to my dying mother, if it was possible, I watched or tried to watch your meetings online. There were times when there were technical difficulties and the meetings were not available for viewing. There are plenty of others who would like to attend the meeting, but work, health, or a host of other reasons keep them away. Do you know how many people are trying to watch online? You were elected to do a job, and last year on one of the occasions in April, when I was able to come to a meeting, I reminded you that the Handbook for Alabama County Commissioners, page 9, says that the commissioner's duty is specific to achieve safe roads at all time. Before coming to that meeting, I measured the Newby Road in front of my mailbox from the center to the edge of the road. At that time, the measurement was 106 inches. Today, that measurement is 104, so my road is getting smaller. Our roads were not designed for the volume of heavy truck traffic, and our roads are being destroyed. I ask that you go to your friends, that you said you have such a good relationship, and come up with a solution to what all along has been a very bad situation, and a good enough solution that ensures that both the City of Huntsville and the Rogers Group show that they do want to be good neighbors. The citizens in your district should not have to come to every single meeting to make sure you are doing your job, which priority number one should be to represent the best interest of those living in your district. Rest assured, I vote, and I have voted every opportunity since I turned 18. And rest assured, I do my homework. The very reason I would not vote for Mark Yarborough is he sat up there and said, our hands are tied. My vote against him was to free that commissioner chairman's hands. Last year, we asked you for a town hall meeting. You declined, saying you were in fear for your life. Once again, I will offer to call the sheriff, myself, and request his presence at a meeting so we can hear your views and what you are doing to help. This is a frustrating situation for all of us. However, rather than making disparaging remarks about the citizens in your district, give us solutions. Tell us what you are doing to make a horrible situation better, and tell us what we can do to help.
Thank you, ma'am.
Marvin Dennany.
I'd like to provide you some slides that the Huntsville Planning Committee gives to provides to anybody who wants it. And some photos that I was not able to upload onto the website or the Facebook page for District 2 because it claimed it was either pornographic or not content subject to that Facebook page. And I don't have any kind of fetish about roads that I know of, and I don't see anything that would not be appropriate for the roads in District 2 that those are pictures of. So I would request either to be able to provide the pictures of our road either onto the Limestone County or to the District 2 Facebook page. You are elected officials. You are elected to represent us. We need you to do that. Mr. Turner, your infantile and juvenile rants on Facebook does not give us any confidence that you can, in fact, represent us. We don't need you to talk to us. We don't need any of the elected officials to talk to us only at the time of elections. We need to have town halls. You need to have listen to the citizens in your area, even if that information is critical to your job. Take that criticism and help us make the county or the district better. Not fight, not call people names. Let's work together. Huntsville has provided a plan for 55 years in the future for Limestone County. That plan is for Limestone County. It's almost all in your district, Mr. Black. So the next time that I come here, we have an issue, and you say, your hands are tied, I didn't know, because that was what happened the last time. Nobody told us. Huntsville publishes their plan into the future for 55 years. Either you're just not wanting to look, or it's covered up. But they have been providing what they're going to do in Limestone County since that right there in 2011. The road conditions have gotten so bad, and I provided pictures. I took only a portion of Newby Road, but there was almost 200 pictures. I didn't want to print every single one out, and I wasn't going to upload all of them to it. But it's only a portion of the road. The roads are falling apart. They have spider-webbed cracks all through them, and we have yet to get into the winter season. When that water gets in those cracks, in that asphalt, they're going to freeze, and they're going to start breaking apart. We have a culvert at the front of Newby Road, right in front of the beginning of the quarry, that it looks to me from the picture and looking at it, me inspecting, and I'm an engineer trained at Auburn. I've been an engineer for 36 years. That culvert is going to collapse. It needs something to be done about it. The whole road, all the roads do. And in fact, we talk about weight limit of the road, but Alabama Code 31, Motor Vehicle and Traffic, specifically states that vehicles and combination of vehicles operating on highways with traffic lanes 12 feet or more in width shall not exceed a total outside width, including any load thereon, of 102 inches. But it also says that vehicles and combinations of vehicles operating on highways with traffic lanes less than 12 feet in width shall not exceed a total outside width, including any loads, of 96 inches. The lanes on any of those roads are not 12 feet. So we shouldn't be allowing 102-inch vehicles on those roads. The law states that we should only be allowing 96. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Any more?
John Brad, Barksdale.
Thank you. I'm one of those like-minded individuals that you spoke of in your response to Danny, Mr. Turner. I guess what you're saying is rock quarry people are not smart enough to think for themselves. The way you described Danny, I thought he was the leader of a cult. You have been a follower of the last chairman for 4 years, so that would make you an expert on following people. You're saying these repairs and such cost nothing. I disagree. My property value went down 10% along with others in my neighborhood. This is based on how much my property taxes went down. The grinding noise you hear 12 hours a day, broken windshields, damage from the blasting, scaring our pets and small children when they're blasting, and general loss of quality of life are tremendous costs for residents. Some people can't sell their homes. Yes, Mr. Turner, I would say it's costing us. Some of us could care less about your relationship with Mayor Battle and the Rogers Group. You bragged about how much Huntsville and Madison helped with Huntsville-Browns Ferry Road. Was this not their annex part? Do you think they did too much? Do you want to give them a medal for what they're supposed to do? You said that you had no knowledge of the quarry or concrete plant, but you do have a good relationship with the ones that put it there. Do you wonder why they thought you were not important enough to be told? After all, it's just your district. Do you ever wonder what or where your next surprise from Mr. Battle will be? You need to wise up and get you a hero that has Limestone County citizens' best interest at heart, not one that's trying to improve his political ambitions. Following quarry residents' attendance at the Huntsville City Council meeting several years ago, it was apparently stated by Mr. Battle that he would not to talk to us because we didn't vote over there. I can tell you one thing, Mr. Turner, this rock quarry cult does vote in District 2, and we don't forget. Hopefully we will find you another occupation. Mr. Turner, you referred to District 2 as my district, my district. It doesn't belong to you. It belongs to the people that elected you, not Rogers Group or Mayor Battle. And please, Mr. Turner, don't feel sorry for me.
Thank you, Mr. Barker. Any more, Pam?
Julie Bellinger.
Thank you, gentlemen. I live in the Arbors, and 3 times now I've been run off the road by oncoming vehicles as I'm going westbound on Newby Road, and these huge trucks are going eastbound. I've been in the ditch and in the mud. It's scary. I no longer go that way anymore. It makes it tremendously inconvenient for me to go all the way through Legacy Grove subdivision to get to Mooresville, to then get to 72 and proceed. I guess my biggest concern is I know we've had email back and forth, and although I do appreciate you widened a little bit with the gravel, but it's deteriorating, and with the rain and the weather coming, I think everything that's been said here today is kind of my reflection as well, but I'm more afraid for being driven off the road and property values, everything that's already been stated, but just wanted to let you know it's scary. So thank you for listening to me.
Thank you, ma'am.
Rennie York.
Rennie York.
I guess that's not work. Good morning, gentlemen.
Morning.
I'm Renee York. My husband and I moved to the area, to Limestone County, about 12 years ago, and we bought one of the first homes in Newby Plantation. When we moved in, there was almost no one there. We had a little piece of the country, we thought. We knew there was going to be further development, but we had no idea what was really in store for us. More homes were built, and then around 2011 we had news that there had been the Mahaffeys were requesting to be able to put a development in on Gray Road, along Gray Road. And then part of that, too, was they wanted to mine some sand and gravel out of the creek back there. They had some kind of agreement with, from what I understand of it, to create more wetlands so that they could use more of the property. We discussed that. This has been going on a while. We've talked. We may be a little less vocal than others, but we all do talk among us a good bit. I know the Denennies did go and speak to Huntsville. I've spoken to them several times. And we thought that was gone. And then, lo and behold, in 2017, we had blasting. We were notified that there was blasting going on. We saw something going on in the distance, and we started asking around. And quickly we found out that bam, 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 that had been rezoned as industrial all of a sudden by Huntsville, just like that. It had been no notice to us that we know of. It had been, they'd been permitted to blast and to operate a quarry there, which was a shock to us. So as time went on, of course, we then raised our hands and screamed and hollered, and I think Mr. Barksdale is when he joined us at that time, because there were a lot of people talking about it. So after that point, we kind of got used to the blasting. We didn't know what we were going to do. We were getting a lot of pushback from you guys. And we had a lot of options that we all discussed among us. But we thought, well, if the quarry's not going away, let's figure out a way to work with it. And the blasting is bad, and it does jar us. My dogs and my animals and even my grandchildren, when they're there, get like, what is that? It upsets them. But that not being bad enough, then we had these trucks that started coming, and it was frightening. They were fast. My husband and I both have met them many, many times across the center lane on Newby Road. And our way we travel is usually north on Newby Road. And I've had to hit the side of the road numerous times because of that. They drive very fast. And of course, we talk on social media. Hey, guys, that's the way the world discusses things these days. If you're not keeping in touch with your constituents via social media, you're missing out on probably 3/4 of the conversations that are going on about this. Also, the Nextdoor website, there's a lot of discussion on there. We have various private Facebook groups. We have various community just within our neighborhoods Facebook groups where the HOA discusses things. We have email distribution lists where we discuss things. So, sorry, that's just the way life is these days.
You're at 4 minutes. That's a minute over. But
okay, just a minute. I'm just about there. We got the anyway. We began talking. Add insult to injury. Then we were told that Mr. Barksdale had worked us into a frenzy. He did not. This was all going on way before then. What I ask of you is, there's got to be some way that somebody can negotiate with Mahaffey's and negotiate with Rogers Group. Y'all are smart gentlemen. You were elected to these positions. You've got to have connections. You've got to know a lot of people to get to where you are. Surely there's something you can do to help us. I voted. I actively worked.
That's 5 minutes. That's actually 2 minutes.
Point of order.
No,
Point of order.
I just told her I would keep the time up here.
Point of order. The chairman controls the flow. It's at his discretion.
I'm almost done. I really am. And I think some of these others
Go ahead
did.
and finish. We'll give you 30 more seconds. Finish
Okay.
up, please.
But in the meantime, though, until we can get something else done about the access road or fixing our road, my request, and I've had others say the same thing, could you lower the speed limit? Possibly that would help not only with the truck traffic, but even the residential traffic, and put a four-way stop there. I think there's one on the property side and one on a Newbie Road side. If you could put 2 more, that might help. We have children on skateboards, walkers, bicycles, everywhere. It's just a dangerous situation.
Ma'am, I hate to cut you off, and I'll be glad to talk to you after the meeting.
Yes, sir.
So, thank you. Thank you. Anybody else?
I have one more, Ryan Patterson.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Sir.
My question is, and I've been there probably 12 years, my question, and I'm not a social media guy, I got enough work to do, take care of my 3 daughters and work and do my job, but I did get forwarded a rant by you on social media. That don't help anybody. But my question is, I see a lot of Band-Aid approaches, not quick fixes, and number one, and I'm out in that district driving every day. I drive 36,000 miles a year, so I'm up and down Huntsville-Browns Ferry. I'd like to know how those 2 bridges on Huntsville-Browns Ferry from Gray Road to Holiday for years have been 10-ton weight limit. 2012, 2013, and this is even from a Madison official, those signs changed to 12 weight limit overnight. I would like to know that the engineer years ago that put those up, somebody come behind him and said, well, he judged this wrong and it should be 12 ton, or was there a down the road thing to help with something? Also, there has been the weight limit thing or speed limit signs or the little rope that you put across the road on Newby and Gray. Why is the Rogers truck drivers in the morning getting out pulling those up? Can anybody explain that?
Well, we put those out. The engineering department put those out to try to get an update.
Is it for weight or
no,
truck?
Those are for axle types and speed.
How many times, to interrupt you, how many
we had to
times?
go back out there. In fact, they came loose so many times that.
You know why they were coming loose?
No, I mean, it was just.
We were watching them pull them out.
Okay, well, that we didn't know, but I mean.
I will be glad.
That count was a bad count, so we're having to go back and redo it again.
There's a reason.
Okay, well,
And believe me, I have buddies in landscaping, friends, and they will say certain days when the state's out measuring, weighing trucks, they can't get the gravel and dirt to a certain area because there are restrictions. Also, the thing you put on North Newby to test the speed limit, there was like a sheriff thing. It would tell you how fast you were going. The trucks were doing 65. That sign's telling you that. Is there a recording to go out there and look? And, drivers were doing the same thing. I mean, commuters. So why put that up if you know it? Why not put a policeman out there?
We didn't put that. That would be the sheriff's department that put
Well, the
that.
sheriff, so somebody knows this is going on, so we can sit in here and complain, but what are we going to do to fix it? I mean, can somebody explain how that bridge overnight went from 10 ton to 12 ton?
Those bridges are in the city of Huntsville, so at the time they were.
Okay, the
it
city.
would've been the Limestone County.
Okay,
engineer that would've
city
weighed
of Huntsville was involved because the gravel is helping build that Toyota Mazda plant. Nobody in here is stupid. We know what's going on, but hey, I just like some answers to how all this. And if you sit out there and watch the truck drivers pull or the Rogers Group pull those up, they know what they're doing.
So, I mean, our plan is to go back and
And you know for a fact
put
they
those
were.
counts in and move them to a different location on the road so that we can get a more.
And they don't even
accurate
stop
count,
at that
but-
stop sign on Newby, coming through Newby, how Newby goes north-south and it curves and goes to Mooresville. They don't even stop. They just roll right through it. And if you're keeping time, if I'm over 3, I apologize, but thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir.
I have no further comments.
No further comments? Okay. Pam, will you please call roll, please?
Commissioner Samet,
Here.
Commissioner Turner.
Here.
Commissioner Black.
Here.
Commissioner Harrison.
Here.
All right, all present. Will you lead us in pledge, Mr. Black?
Yes, sir. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, sir. All right. First item on the agenda, I'll ask for a motion to approve the minutes from the November 19th, 2018 meeting. Do I hear such a motion?
I make a motion, Mr. Chairman.
Motion by Commissioner Samet. Do I hear a second?
Second.
A second by either
Third being first.
Mr. Harrison. Any discussion? I'll call for a vote.
Commissioner Samet,
Aye.
Commissioner Harrison.
Aye.
Commissioner Turner.
Aye.
Commissioner Black.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. The next thing, I'll ask for a motion to approve the claims in the amount of $347,350.69 as submitted. Do I hear such a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Motion, Commissioner Harrison. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Black. Any discussion? With no discussion, I'll call for a vote.
Commissioner Harrison?
Aye.
Commissioner Black?
Aye.
Commissioner Sammet?
Aye.
Commissioner Turner?
Aye.
All right, motion carries unanimously. Do we have any conflicts of interest today with any commissioner on anything on the agenda? With that being said, I'll take that as a no. All right, we have no resolutions and orders. Under contracts, grants, and agreements and grants, I will ask for a motion to approve the franchise agreement from Charter Communications LLC. Do I hear such a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Commissioner Harrison. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Black. Any discussion? All right, with no discussion, I'll call for a vote.
Commissioner Harrison?
Aye.
Commissioner Black?
Aye.
Commissioner Sammet?
Aye.
Commissioner Turner?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Same thing, I'll ask for a motion to approve the franchise agreement with MediaCom Southeast LLC. Do I hear such a motion?
So moved.
Before the motion, there's a couple of things that developed late. They had asked for the effective date of the franchise to be January 1 for their calendaring purposes. So I think the formal approach would be to extend the current franchise through December 31, with the renewed franchise being January 1, being effective January 1. So if Steve wants to note the motion amended in that fashion.
Is this for the MediaCom or just the MediaCom only?
MediaCom.
Okay. Do you,
Yes.
yes, okay. A second on that?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Black. Any discussion on that?
Mark, just clarification, the one in our packet is not the final version, is that correct?
Yes, this is developed late, and I sent that to you on Friday, because I knew you'd have a question. So it is amended that any reimbursement obligation of the county would just be if similar service providers are getting reimbursed.
Right.
So it would be like another charter. Another cable provider.
cable type provider.
But the amended, this final one Friday is what we're voting on, is that correct?
Well, we're just extending it through
With the extension.
And then renewing.
then we're gonna renew it in January.
We had some talk about the reimbursable portion, and we had the changes made Friday and I'm okay with it.
Yes, if y'all want to look at that, it's 3.13, where it says if funds are available to any person. What they were agreeable to change was any similar service provider. Instead of just saying any person, which would be anybody, essentially, it would be any similar service provider.
Okay.
Yeah, it's this.
That's the one we questioned
last
meeting.
All right.
I'm okay with that.
Thank y'all. With all that being discussed, I'll call for a vote.
Commissioner Turner?
Aye.
Commissioner Black?
Aye.
Commissioner Sammet?
Aye.
Harrison?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Then the next thing here, we'll ask for a motion to approve amendment to the Recreational Trails Program project to delete the covering of the two bridges as part of the bridge repair for the project scope. Do I hear such a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Commissioner Black. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Sammet. Have any discussion on this? All right, with no discussion, I'll call for a vote.
Commissioner Black?
Aye.
Commissioner Sammet?
Aye.
Commissioner Turner?
Aye.
Commissioner Harrison?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Next thing is, I'll ask for a motion to approve the tax abatement agreement, a period of 10 years for TriCap Development LLC and the M2H2 Holdings LLC. Do I hear such a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Commissioner Black. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Turner. Any discussion? All right, with no discussion, I'll call for a vote.
Commissioner Black?
Aye.
Commissioner Turner?
Aye.
Commissioner Sammet?
Aye.
Commissioner Harrison?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. We have no budget revisions, no emergency purchases under board appointments. I will ask for a motion to appoint Colin Daly to the Solid Waste Disposal Authority to replace Mark Yarber's term ending November the 30th of 2020. Do I have such a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Sammet, and a second by Commissioner Turner. Do we have any discussion on this? All right, I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Sammet?
Aye.
Commissioner Turner?
Aye.
Commissioner Black?
Aye.
Commissioner Harrison?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. All right, under award bids, I'll ask for a motion to approve the following bids. The first one is motor oils for with W.H. Thomas Company, and $12,864.37. That's overall. That classifies with all kind of oils with anything. And then the second one would be with business cards with Printing and Stationery Incorporated, and it's $329. Do I hear such a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Commissioner Black, second by Commissioner Turner. Any discussion? With no discussion, I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Black?
Aye.
Commissioner Turner?
Aye.
Commissioner Sammet?
Aye.
Commissioner Harrison?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. All right, under the personnel action, I'll ask for a motion to approve to promote John McCormick to sergeant, updating staffing plan and job description representatively. Do I have a motion for this?
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Commissioner Black. Have a second.
Second it, Mr. Chairman.
Second by Commissioner Sammet. Any discussion? With no discussion, I'll call for a vote.
Commissioner Black?
Aye.
Commissioner Sammet?
Aye.
Commissioner Turner?
Aye.
Commissioner Harrison?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. And at this point, I'll turn the meeting over to our county engineer, Mr. Massey.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. We have 3 subdivisions that we're requesting approval on today. The Morris Tosh subdivision, it's a minor subdivision. This is preliminary and final. It's 2 lots in District 2. This is the west side of Cambridge Lane, south of Cambridge Lane, and the Newby Road intersection. The Johnson Road subdivision, this is minor, so it's preliminary and final. 3 lots in District 1, and it's north of Johnson Road and Lewis Road intersection. And the Ridge Phase 3, this is a major subdivision for preliminary approval. 19 lots in District 2. It's at the end of Landview Lane, and we recommend these for approval.
All right. Do I hear such a motion to submit these 3 subdivisions as submitted by Mr. Massey?
I make a motion.
Motion by Commissioner Turner. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Black. Any discussion? With no discussion, I'll call for a vote.
Commissioner Turner?
Aye.
Commissioner Black?
Aye.
Commissioner Sammet?
Aye.
Commissioner Harrison?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Anything else, Mr. Massey?
No other items. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, next thing on the agenda, under other business, I'll ask for a motion to close county offices New Year's Eve and New Year's Day for the New Year's holiday. Do I hear such a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Commissioner Black. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Commissioner Turner. Do we have any discussion on this? With no discussion, I'll call for a vote.
Commissioner Black?
Aye.
Commissioner Turner?
Aye.
Commissioner Sammet?
Aye.
Commissioner Harrison?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. We have no scheduled public hearing. At this point, I'll go to the report of the officers. Commissioner Sammet.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to mention I talked to Representative Danny Crawford Friday, and he's looking at putting another license clerk for the driver's license department in office, and he's having survey work done now. This is coming from the state. It'll be a state employee, and our part will be to provide bigger space for him. But I would like for us to get behind him and help him out all we can, because I think this is a department that really needs attention. I know I hate to see these young people deal with county government and have to sit a day at a time waiting on driver's license to be issued. So I just wanted to mention that, and I'd like to help him out all we could if y'all see fit. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Sammet. Commissioner Turner.
Yeah, I'll try my best to answer some of these questions that I haven't previously answered. To Mr. Putnam about the gerrymandering, I don't understand that. That's probably through annexation that all that happened. That's a property owner's right to have his property annexed if he's already touching a portion of Athens or Huntsville or Madison. The county commission don't get a vote, say so yes or no in that. So if that did happen and that's the facts, That nobody on this commission, the previous commission, or any previous commission had any control over that. Julie Belonger, I've talked to you several times on the phone, talked to you, explained to you why we was trying to widen the shoulders with the added stone so that if you did have to get over, there was at least a good surface there for you to get over onto. Miss York, the speed limit and the four-way stop, I brought this up early on in this process. Was told it was a slap in the face for me to put a three-way stop or lower the speed limit. So that's why I didn't do anything. So you can view that on the live stream of the meeting. Yeah, well, I mean, it's facts. It's not me making it up. A guy stood right there and told me that.
Try it again.
Well, we're trying to get the traffic counts to make sure that we can justify it. That's what was the purpose of the traffic counters was. Now, whether or not the traffic counters were being pulled up by the actual truck drivers or that was the trucks coming out turning right there, I don't know the answer to that. I didn't see them pull them up. Every day I'd go down there and look, and if they were pulled up, I'd call Mark, and he'd send his guys back out to put them back down. So,
Let me ask you this. Did Rogers know if they were weight or traffic count?
oh, they knew they were traffic counters. I mean, we don't have scales. We don't have any scales available to us. As far as I know, our sheriff's department don't have scales. Is that correct, Fred? So the sheriff's department's got no way of weighing. We've got no way of weighing. So they do have a certified scale on the site down there. I know for a fact they won't let them out of there over 80,000 pounds. So
How many tons is that?
how many times is
How many tons is that? That's
40 tons? Yeah. There's one. Oh, and since last Wednesday, I did have a meeting with both Rogers Group and Tommy Battle Friday. Matter of fact, Huntsville was supposed to be calling Reed contracting today to schedule repairing the rest of Gray Road the way we repaired the first 800 feet. Now, when that's going to happen, I don't know, but they assured me when I left there Friday at 3 o'clock that they would contact Reed this morning to do to the rest of Gray Road what we'd done to the...
Is that supposed to be a permanent repair or a patch?
Well, what we're doing right now, what we've done right now is gone in and replaced the stone under the road. We put down 3 inches of binder. We're watching that. It still needs to have a wearing surface put over it. So we don't have the wearing surface down yet. I'm assuming Huntsville will have Reed do similar work. That's what I requested, was to match what we done. So if they...
That's all that's going to be done. That'll be gone by February.
Well, I would let you argue that with our engineer, since he's the one that told me what to do.
I have a Class A commercial driver's license. I know what these trucks do to the roads.
Well, at any rate,
May I just ask one quick question? So you're waiting on the final surface to be put on before you put stripes down, is that?
that's correct. That's correct.
I have a
Also,
question. If we're interested in Limestone County citizens, I'd like to see us investigate that, how the housing authority could issue a permit to a quarry that has no legitimate way to exit. I think Mr. Gaines said he would look into that. Y'all agree? Yeah, well, I think you said you would
Matt,
look together.
by the way, I'll give you my card. You can
Okay.
email me your questions.
Okay. Do you understand the question, Mr. Turner?
I don't think I understand what you're asking.
Well, the Huntsville Housing Authority issued a permit, permitting authority issued a permit to a quarry with no legitimate way to exit. That looks like they would have some requirement for due diligence or something. I don't know.
Well, they did have an exit onto their road. Half of that road is their road. They're exiting onto.
That's correct, but the road was an unsuitable road to start with.
Well, we didn't feel that way at the time.
13 tons.
Sir?
My understanding is you said the road, if it was weight limited, it would be at 13 tons.
Well, you misunderstood. What I was getting at when I said that was if I was going to weight limit, 13 tons would be all that I could justify to not be targeting the Rogers Group. If I put anything less than 13 tons over there, it's clear that I'm targeting that Rogers Group, without a doubt. So the only way to do that fairly to everybody would go to 13 tons, which would allow up to a school bus to go down that road.
But a school bus is much lighter than one of these gravel trucks.
No argument.
Garbage
No
truck is
argument.
Much lighter.
going up
When
and
they
down
haul
at
the
one
cotton
time.
out of the fields, you tell me that weighs as much as the gravel?
I don't know about the answer to that. I don't know how much cotton weighs. All I'm telling you is that if I put a weight limit over there that unfairly targets the Rogers Group from being able to do their business, I can almost assure you that we'd be in a lawsuit. I told Mr. Barksdale, y'all are probably all read it online. If one of these guys wants to put that on the agenda, get their support and get them to put it on the agenda, and we'll vote on it today. And then I'm also working with Rogers Group, trying to make a deal. They basically agreed to a deal if once we get them the final numbers to resurface all of Newby Road east and west. So that's the answers I have today.
Has anyone ever contacted the Mahaffey family to see if they would be agreeable to giving Rogers Group a right of way to Brownsville?
I have not.
You have not.
I'm aware.
You know, nobody was even concerned enough to call them and ask them. Is that correct?
I wouldn't say it like that. That's in Huntsville city limits. I can't. I do represent you, but I can't force him. If he says no, and apparently he's already said no to the Rogers Group, that he's not going to give them access to Huntsville Browns Ferry Road, and I can't enforce that.
What have you got to lose by just
Property owner.
talking to him and asking? What have you got to lose by just asking?
I'll be glad to ask him. I can ask him.
The owner said that he wouldn't allow it to go out because the political force here doesn't want it to go out. So simply.
He said that where?
All the property owner has to do so. I'm not going to agree to a lease. That ends the question about going out on Browns Ferry.
Where did he make that statement?
It is obviously not a public statement.
Oh.
Clearly, we were talking about it in 2017, about it going out there. You went down to Montgomery and got funding.
No, I did not get funding. I tried to get funding.
For fixing those two bridges.
I sure did.
Now all of a sudden, the landowner goes, "Oh, I'm not going to let you go out there."
I went and asked.
That doesn't pass the smell test in any such way.
Well, I don't know about smell test and anything about that, but I did go down there and met with Danny Crawford, Mac McCutcheon, Phil Williams, and Lynn Greer at the time, and I explained to them everything about this problem and that we needed to find some help. They have still no help, and I've talked to Danny Crawford about it numerous times. Talked to Mac McCutcheon about it. In fact, the other day at the Mazda Toyota grand opening, I talked to Doug Jones about it. And he's not my favorite person, but he was there, and he was somebody I thought I could get some help from. So, you know.
Mr. Turner, that exactly what you're saying is one of the things that you could say to us, to say to the people in your district, help me. You contact these people. This is what I'm doing. Now you contact these people and express your concern.
Will you please contact these people and express your concerns?
I'll certainly do.
And that's all I got.
Thank you, Commissioner Turner. Commissioner Black?
The only thing that I have here is, Mr. Chairman, I would request that beginning at our next meeting that we have and work session, that from now on we provide all of the public and us and the media with what our policies and procedures are as far as meeting.
Okay.
I had always kept the time. It was nothing derogatory toward whoever it was. I've just always been up here to keep the time that I just kept personally. And Mr. Daly here, he didn't say anything, so I just felt like that since it's our policies and procedures that we speak 3 minutes, that I was just happy to keep up with it. It doesn't bother me if 100 people come in here to speak for 3 minutes. During our policies and procedures, this is the time during the report of the officers that we speak. It's not a time, if you'll look at the policies and procedures, that we're supposed to address y'all or talk to you personally or you be able to ask a question. That's why we put this up front. So I may sound like I was being father time, or I may sound like I was trying to be a rules follower, but we really do have rules and policies and procedures that we're supposed to follow. I don't ever want this meeting or this commission to become what I see so often on TV shows and stuff, where the media gets to video y'all doing something or yelling and us yelling back, and that's not what this process is about. This process is supposed to be run just like our state, federal, and local government's all supposed to be run the same. You can't just go in there when any other department is, or branch of government is talking and just jump up and start talking. And we can't do that in here. That's why we're supposed to listen to y'all. If you get up here with your public comments, every one of you made great statements. But what you have to do is in that 3-minute time, you can't ramble. I mean, bam, 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 hit your points. Be passionate about it. I mean, I would be. I've been here before I was a commissioner, and I addressed the commission, but I knew what the guidelines were. So I just want y'all to know that by no means am I trying to quieten anyone down or not let everybody speak. We just have rules of order because y'all may have passionate questions that you really have. But what about the next meeting we have, and we have 3 people sitting in the back of the room, and y'all feel like it's gotten out of control? We don't get to pick and choose who gets to not follow the rules. We've got to make sure everybody follows the rules. So that's the only thing I do. I would ask Pam to provide a copy of those to us and to y'all and to the media, and that way everybody knows what page we're on. So that's the only thing. Other than that, on the technical difficulties, Ms. Dennehy said, I know of only one time we had technical difficulties on that live streaming, and I think we rectified that, and it wasn't live, but we were able to get it on there. So I just knew of the one time. The other thing is, Ms. York, you said oh, there you are. You said that we pushed back. We pushed back on you because y'all were concerned. We really don't push back. There's just things that we have to be able to do that we can't go out there with the picks and the shovels and the torches and go take over. There's ways that we have to be able to follow this. And Mr. Macklin, he is our guy. It's not Mr. Turner. It's not Mr. Harrison. It's not any of us. We have to do what our council says to do, and they don't do it based on emotions or based on what the width of the road is. We have to do it based on what the law says. And until we can't change that, until those things change, we have to keep giving you the same answers that we're giving you. I mean, if I lived in that subdivision, heck yeah, I wouldn't want it over there. But, I wouldn't want it if I lived where Walmart is either. The traffic is traffic. The big trucks, I wouldn't want them either. I wouldn't want 10 school buses running by in front of my house all the time. So I understand, but you've got to understand, too, that we can't just haphazardly flip a coin and say we're going to do it this way. We're not going to do it the way that we legally have to. So I want y'all to know that we're not deaf ears on any of y'all. None of you.
But you can put out a plan of what
We can't talk. I just said we're not supposed to be able to talk with you. So I'm not going to. Afterwards, me and you will talk if you want to. But right now is when we're supposed to, by policies and procedures, make our statements, and y'all are not. Okay? So that's it. If you want to talk after the meeting, talk before the meeting, talk tomorrow, meet for breakfast. Any of us, that's what we're here for. We're here to work for each one of y'all. But we cannot lose the control of this meeting, or it becomes a mockery, and it's just really embarrassing, and I do not want that to ever happen. That's it. That's all I have.
Thank you, Commissioner Black. Commissioner Harrison?
Well, my raising a point of order, Jason, Commissioner Black, was the point that the chairman controls that flow. And I believe, if I'm not I could stand corrected, that the 3-minute is a general, but it's up to it's up to the chairman's discretion. I mean, he can enforce that. He can hold them to 3 minutes.
And if 10 people have the same thing to say, he can hold to it that they only have one spokesperson too. I think that's what the procedure says. So.
Mr. Harrison.
Yes, sir.
It's sort of funny that one wants you to stay after the meeting and talk, and then one wants you to shut up. That's what we've been dealing with.
Yeah. And I feel your frustration too. And to say this, a lot of the issues that Steve's dealing with, I'm dealing with in my district also.
They took your money from you.
Well, and it's not that. It's what I'm talking about in terms of loads. If I'm not sure, I think our default is 80,000 pounds throughout the county under, that it's not posted, and I think that's what Newby Chapel currently in all those roads
We're not
are.
talking about Newby Chapel. We're talking about Newby.
Okay, I'm sorry. Well, those roads over there, the roads in question, I think the default is 80,000 pounds. And so I don't have the quarry traffic now that I used to, but I've got the feed trucks. If you've got a chicken house on one of my roads, on the Chip Seal Road, I mean, it's in bad shape. So, and we've done some load limiting on one particular road where there was another route. Okay, I've done that, but it is a problem, and we all face even Steve. All of us have funding issues, and really, I go ahead to say this: when the Mazda Toyota deal came in, I voted for it to give the TIF to them so they get the increased property taxes to where they can go out and borrow money to do the infrastructure. Well, and it's limited to certain projects. I went back and read the TIF. What would have been good if we had a seat at the negotiating table is to include some of those projects even in, I don't know if it could be at that time, but to include the quarry routes in that TIF, or be able to get a project in a TIF like that. There could have been more planning going into that. I'll admit that. But a lot of times we get these things on Wednesday. We vote on them on the following Monday, and I've been told time and time again on these economic development that we don't have negotiating. I mean, we just got an up or down vote, and we don't get a seat at the negotiating table. And that's one of the main problems I have with the economic development process. I would love to get that changed, but it's hard to do that. I've been trying. Going on to my issues, so there's a possibility this Thursday and Friday that we'll be able to start work on Quinn Road, that first 1,400 feet on that road, if the temperature and the rain holds up. So just want to let everybody know that if that does indeed happen, that portion of the road will be closed and they'll have to take detours. That's all I have.
Is it okay if I say something else, Pam, before Colin talks?
Thank you, Commissioner Harrison.
You got. And I was just going to tell Mr. Danini, this could be anywhere in Limestone County. These pictures of Mooresville Road, Nick Davis Road, roads in Darrell's district, roads in Ben Jason's district. These pictures right here, I admit.
You're doing a bad job everywhere.
Not me. I'm not saying me, just me alone. I'm just saying these roads are indicative of what all the roads in Limestone County look like.
All the roads in Limestone County, and you're talking to me, are not having these 80,000-pound trucks, 30, 40, 50 of them a day traveling over, and when the winter hits, and it's going to, and the water gets in the roads and the asphalt, your engineer can tell you they're going to break apart when it freezes.
My point is that this is not an isolated case of roads being in bad shape. Roads all over Limestone County, from the river all the way to the Tennessee line, look similar.
Well, thank you. I'll speak here a second. I'm well aware of the 3 minutes. I mean, and y'all's issues or everybody. I mean, that was my mistake. I'm sorry there. I didn't mean.
It's no problem.
I mean,
I'm not fussing at you. I promise.
I ran for this job to be the voice of the people of Limestone County, and that's what I intend to do. I have talked with everybody. I'm new in office. Give us time. We're working hard, and I'm not taking up for nobody individually, but Steve is working, Jason's working. We're all working on these issues. Our engineer's working on issues. I went and talked with Mr. Macklin Friday. Met with him on. We talked issues. We all face the same issue. Gas tax. You can go back and research it. We get the same amount of money we've got basically over the last several years. I mean, we have a failing infrastructure. That's no doubt. I mean, it's not. It's in all four of our districts, and we'll all four work hard to work it out. And this county is 200 years old. We've survived 200 years. This is growing pains. I mean, and I understand y'all's frustration. And we will all work hard. And I can't speak for them on their behalf, but on everything. But I speak for myself. We'll work hard. With that being said, and I want to remind everybody, we have a Christmas tree lighting coming up this Thursday night. we'll all go to Montgomery this week, and when we're down there, you know, I'm going to learn new things. We're going to learn about what we can and can't do. I have a meeting today with a lady from Mr. Jones's office. He called. She's coming by today. I mean, we're working. I want to work well together with everybody, no matter who you are, what you are. We're going to work well with you. So, and then the next thing is, I want to thank all the county employees. You know, they work hard, and I know social media sometimes gets things blown up. But, you know, those people behind the scenes, you know, they take a bullet for this too. And I want to thank everyone in attendance today, you know, and anything you need, I'm free anytime. You know, y'all come to my office, I'm willing to talk with anybody. I think the people that knows me knows that. You know, there's a door on my office, but it's never been closed since I've been there. I mean, I don't know. They said it wasn't there before, but now it's the door over there, but I've never closed it. But if we need to talk about something in private, we can close it. But anyways, with that being said, we'll recess until 10 a.m. Wednesday, December the 12th, 2018, at the Washington Street Courthouse Annex, 310 West Washington Street. Thank everybody for coming today.